Hello, hello, and welcome to everyone to episode 35 of Heart to Heart with Hazel. And our guest here tonight is Dawn from Scrapbook Sage. And let me just see who is here. I'm very grateful that both moderators are here tonight. It was touch and go. We could have been limping along with only me. Teresa is here. Carol came close to not being here because maybe that grandchild was finally going to make his appearance. But both the girls are here, so that's great. Beth is here from Happy Place Crafting. Beth, I was thinking about you today. When a guest mentions some other channel or some other personality, I try to make note of it. And opposite Karen slapping paint on paper, I have Beth's name. So anyway, I might be reaching out to you for an email address. Okay, who else have we got here? Juju is in the house. Now, of course, she is a dear friend of yours. And oh, that's what I was going to ask you before we went live. Maybe there will be a chance to ask you what the big connection there is, other than, you're just two interesting women. Okay, so, and Susie Allen is here. Okay, so because you can't get anything past me. I thought that with a channel name like Scrapbook Sage, that was probably your origin. Is that so?
It was. So I've been scrapbooking since 2000. And when we were in California. We moved to California, and it was when scrapbooking was really big, right? Yeah. And it's like I was playing with the idea of, do I want to open up a store, all that kind of stuff. When we moved, I was like, that would be fun to do. And so I was just playing with names. And it's like, Scrapbook Sage, let's go with that. And so we bought the domain name way back in the day. And it wasn't until, like 7 years ago that we actually started using it, maybe 19. As me doing a business selling cards, I do cards locally and go to craft fairs and stuff like that using Scrapbook Sage. And then I started my YouTube channel probably 6 years ago. It's who knows. It was fun. It was good, but
it all blurs together
after it does after a while. So I started out with cards, and I was working doing shows. There's a couple little shops I was able to be in. I worked in a museum and did my cards there. Got to work for this really cool museum called the Museum of Whimsy. And the gal who owned this building, she had a collection that filled an old, like a ballroom, this huge, a ballroom. She had every corner, every niche filled with her collection of things. And so I got to be her docent, for a couple summers. And it was so cool. And she's no longer doing it. First, it was like an ice cream shop. And then she just started. We think we collect things with our ephemera. We have nothing to be. Her stuff was amazing. And it was fun.
Maybe just to give us a little bit of a teaser, list 3 or 4 or 5 of the most unusual things you would have seen there.
She had a canal boat that was actually from Europe that was painted by the person who decorated the canal boats. And it was all accessorized, and you can walk up in it and sit in it. And that was really cool. She, oh gosh, it's so hard. Okay, how I got to know her is I used to work at Dress Barn when we first moved up here. And one of my coworkers, she, back in the day, she was Sunshine the Clown. And she would go to churches and do ministry being Sunshine the Clown with her family. Well, she had all this collection of clown stuff, right? And she was downsizing, so she called the local museums, and Museum of Whimsy took her clowns. And so it was opening night, showing off the exhibit for the clowns. And so I went and to support DJ and my friend. And Trish, the owner, had bought one of those really old, like turn of the century or late 1800s white tents, that they used to use for surveying. If you'd see on like Dr. Quinn or whatever, you saw those big tents. So she put all of Sunshine stuff in there, bought a popcorn machine, did a little vanity with pictures of her putting on her makeup, and had all of her clowns and her whole history and displayed it just amazing. And so we were there, and that's how I started working for her. I go, you did such a good job at honoring my friends. If you need any help, you just let me know. I would love to support you here at the Museum of Whimsy. And so she hired me in. So that was nice. She had a whole room dedicated to African stuff. Upstairs, she had a table that was Alice in Wonderland, with the Mad Hatter and stuff like that. So she had so many things. I can go on for hours. But anyways, it was a very fun place to work for a few summers.
That sounds incredible. Maybe not to be the one acquiring it, paying for it, keeping it clean and dusted, but certainly to visit and ooh and ah over. And right, I would think any of us that ever feel bad about how much we have can just say, well, but at least I don't have a gondola from Italy, because that's what you're talking about, right?
No, they're English channel boats.
Oh.
So they're
anyway, none of us have a boat in our house, so that's pretty safe to say, I'd say. Okay, so Dawn is, based on the fact that she sent me a detailed email earlier this week, based on the conversation that I had with her before we went live, I am going to go out on a limb here and say that you are extremely focused, extremely goal-oriented, and extremely detail-oriented. Is that right?
Sort of. Okay. Did you ever do the Gary Smalley, how you do the test of your personality test like that? And there was one that was a little bit, it was focused, and it had the 4 categories of people. The leader is the lion, the beaver is the organized person, the golden retriever is the, everybody loves you. And then what was the other one? Lion, golden retriever, beaver, and I'm forgetting the otter, very playful heart and stuff. So I'm strong in everything but the beaver.
Oh.
But all my jobs have been beaver oriented. So I've had to work hard at being good at being a beaver. But I tend to be much more carefree and laid back and things. But I am very focused. It's hard to say. I think I care. I'm very balanced, I think, in most of the things that I do. So I am driven, but I think that was more a result of just my childhood, of like, I wanted to succeed, and there's things that I needed to deal with. So I was very intense as a child. And then
are you a firstborn by any chance?
No.
Oh, because when I think intensity, I think firstborn.
No, I was we had a very challenging childhood. And then, but there was a lot of grace in the midst of that. And so I became a Christian when I was 8. And well, I guess I was 9. But I just had God's grace upon my life in many situations. And I'm just so grateful for that. And as a result, opportunities just opened up, and I just wanted to put my hand and do as many things as I could. So
yeah.
I talked to you about a video I want to send you, and it's about a person who a lot of times we focus on. People are like one focus, and they do that all their lives.
Yes.
But then there's other people that have a lot of different focus.
Yes.
that's me, I think more so. And I don't
And
know
that,
the word.
yeah, sorry. And that's me. And that's a book for those of us that suspect we might be that person. I've talked about it before. That's Barbara Scher's book, Refuse to Choose. Before I ask you the next question, I just want to say hi to Denise, who is here, and Gwen the Trash Witch. Oh, and Sandra's here. And Juju says, just issue her a challenge and then it's on. And we will explore that friendship in a bit too, because we know that anyone who's met Juju is never going to forget that experience. So maybe you're two of a kind. So just to circle back to this email that Dawn sent me the other day, she said, "Oh, my husband is very close to retiring. I know that in the past you like to ask people about what their future is for or what their plans are for their channel and so on. We're kind of in a state of flux, don't know, blah blah blah." And in our little discussion before we went live, I'm thinking, of course we have to talk about this because your spouse's decision or life event is naturally going to affect you. And I also understand that we all come to that fork in the road, whether, we could get there proactively, we could make a conscious decision to do it. We could get there just by life throwing us a curveball. We could get there with joy and anticipation. We could get there because of tragedy. So we all come to a fork in the road. And I just want you to talk a bit about, the status of what's going on and the thought processes and just how you're handling what's upcoming for you.
Sure. So, my father-in-law passed away a few months ago, and that has enabled. So it's bittersweet, right? You get to you miss somebody that you love, but it may provide some resources that you may not have had available to you before. So, with that in mind, my husband is older than me, so in a few years he would have wanted to plan to retire anyways. So we're able to do that a little bit earlier. And meanwhile, I've been gearing up because I'm thinking my father-in-law was very a healthy man, even though he's older. So it's like, that's going to outlive us both, just the way that we are. It's going to outlive us both. And so I've been in like all this, I'm going to gear up for my business. I've been laying things in place and talking to the girls and, all these things about plans that I've had. And so when Deb passed, we were like, and I gave you the analogy of like the rocket ship. It's about ready to take off and I'm ready to push the button to ignite everything in place. And then everything sort of, oh, wait, we should hold off on this. I'm really glad I didn't spend the fuel to make this happen, right? So I was sort of in that place at the end of last year. You had invited me to come and be on. I said, let's hold a little bit. I've got plans. And so those were the plans I was talking about. And then we pivoted, right? And so when we found out, I decided, okay, I'm going to move my craft room from the dining room into this room. So in the last 2 months, I've totally moved my whole craft room into here. And so that was one of the changes that I did, because I knew if I was in because my craft room was in my dining room and we have a main floor area, a main area. And I thought, I need to have a little bit more privacy. He's going to need his privacy. I'm going to need my privacy. Let's make it happen now. So that's what I worked on through Christmas. Because I knew.
And it's a thankless job, isn't it? And an eye-opening job.
Oh, I love it, though. I'm a sorter. Like, I like to organize things. I'm a curator. I like to curate things. I like to touch things, as Juju, she knows. This whole year, I've been processing my whole room, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, I think we enjoy it, but my goodness, the system doesn't typically last very long because we're Anyway, carry on with your story.
So I do have some vision as far as systems because I was a job coach, right? So it's like I know where I want to be and I want to get there. So I'm able to break things down a little bit to make that happen. And so I'm pretty close to having my room the way I want. It's just going to, I have probably about 10, 12 more things I want to do and it will be perfect.
Will you do a video tour?
Maybe.
You should. Like, I think most of us are voyeurs of some sort. We love to see other people's stuff.
Well, pretty much my thing is I'm much workflow. I definitely like to set things up for a quick workflow, and I organize my things by season. And my biggest video was Kara Brandon's about 3 or 4 years ago. My biggest video was just talking about organizing my things by season. So I really do work in a way. It's like all my fabrics by season, all my papers by season, and the outliers are Christmas and nautical things because I make so much for the shop. And when I say the shop, there's a shop in Seaside called Crafted in Seaside that I sell my journals there.
Yeah. Okay. But let's talk about the thing that your husband is doing.
Oh, so Brad is retiring.
Oh, yes, I have a husband.
Yes, in 5 days. And he is, he only has to work 5 more days. He's retiring in 10 days. He only has to work 5 more days. And so he did retail. And we really haven't had, when you first get married, you have this image of what your life is going to look like. And then life happens and things don't work out. He worked in computers. .com happened, 2000. Then he was working in the industry of building homes. Then the house bubble crashed, and then he worked for GameStop. And then, there's just things that happen, right? So he is retiring from working retail here, and it has been a thankless job. And I really do believe he has sacrificed to just bless me. And we both worked here. I worked here 8 years, and we both are working full time. And then I got to have the last few years off since COVID. And I guess it's been more than a couple of years, but I've been working part time, not really off. I do make a lot of journals and spend like 10 hours a day making journals because I make so many. But I'm able to be in a relaxed environment, my own space, home, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, since he's retiring, we're probably going to rest, work on the house, go to events with family, all that good stuff. My closest friend, or one of my close friends who lives in India, she's coming back from there. And so they're going to be stateside, and I'll spend time with them. And their kids we don't have any children. So their kids, they'll call me Yami. And I've been I've become their grandma as a surrogate sort of. And so just making the home a place that family can be at and all that kind of stuff. And then going and visiting my own family and just enjoying the life that we've had to sort of put off for so long.
Yeah.
And I can't do as much as I have been doing without the stress. I'd be stressed out or bringing more anxiety to the situation than what he deserves.
So, have you sort of put a time limit on this period of calm, this transition period, this period of just enjoying his presence, enjoying the freedom of being able to do things together, doing the visiting you're talking about, doing the home projects? Or is it going to be more a case of reading the situation and figuring out when maybe your creative side is making you itchy and you got to scratch that?
Right. Well, I think I'll always be creative. Now, whether I'm doing that in the public eye or making a business out of it is really what is going to boil down to. So I will still be creating. It might just be more under the radar.
For your own pleasure.
Yeah, and not having to feel like I need to perform to make a business and play the media game and all that kind of stuff. Yes. You and I were talking about that a little bit, right? There's so much to learn, that whole process. Yeah. The flip side of it is we've made so many friends, And, people do want to know, people are curious,
Yeah.
so I haven't decided yet which one. Am I going to retire with him in 2 weeks, or am I going to retire at the end of the year? I still haven't decided yet. We
Yeah.
will see.
Yeah, well, and it never hurts, for viewership to just leave a little cliffhanger like that, get people wondering and checking back to your channel. Um, so again, as I said in the lead up to that conversation or to that question, that, it's both almost a blessing and a curse to be at that pivot point where you can really kind of only choose one direction. No matter what, when we make a decision, we're automatically eliminating all the other choices. But you will have the freedom to adjust and massage your decision until it feels totally right. Now, I do want to, um,
Oh,
and if oh, sorry.
and the other thing is, it's like, okay, we're at decision. God plays a role in that for me too. It's like, okay, God, what do you want me to put my hand to? So I just don't know that I've played that out in, like, doing the process of journaling and, okay, God, what's your vision for me in the midst of that? And I think that's an important piece for me and others, or to encourage others, is I'm a journal girl. And I really do like to write out those thoughts and those feelings and what is going on, and going back to the basics. I've been journaling since I was 15. So I think that is a good process for people to go to. So I don't want to leave that out of the equation as you're being in that crossroads time. It's always good time to say, okay, is there something else that I'm missing, or you want me to add to this
Yes.
process?
Yeah. I just want to say hi to Jonna and Sandy who have joined us. Good to have you ladies here. Jonna, I hope the ice storm has not hit. I think that I'm getting a greater appreciation and awareness for how putting the question to the good Lord and staying alert to the answer, to the sign, to the advice, to the encouragement is so very important. So um, I find it interesting that you would say something like, I became a Christian at age 8. And I'm thinking, what the heck does the average 8-year-old know about even making a decision like that? And I mean, I suppose you can answer that if you wish to. Do you wish to?
Sure, I'm happy to. Um, so we were in a challenging situation with my family, and we had to escape from a situation. And so we moved to a new location, and I was very young, and but I grew up in one faith, or we were going to church in one faith, and the Holy Spirit just played a role, and so I went back to that faith, and it just wasn't riding right with me. Meanwhile, I really wanted to be a Girl Scout, but we didn't have the finances for that. And somebody came knocking on our door and said, I'm starting a Bible study. And she was a beautiful gal, a couple years older than me. And she goes, and we're going to be, why don't you come with me on Wednesday nights? We're going to do Joy Bells. And it was um, a Wednesday night Bible study, and had still am close to my 11-year-old friend. She came to visit me a couple years ago with that. And my Bible study leader back then called me up this last year. My son and daughter might be moving up to that area. So it's so nice, to have those roots and that faith. And, God was just a father to the fatherless to me, and provided a family when my family wasn't able to be family. And I just received an incredible amount of love and grace. And I wanted something, and he provides something even better. And then
Yeah.
I've been so lucky to have a tapestry of people throughout my life because of my faith. Sign language, me learning sign language, allowed me to be a missionary out of deaf orphanage. My going to college, I was part of university fellowship. So faith has always played a role in my life. But it's not faith, it's God has always played a role and has helped me to know I have a faith that is unshakable.
So, so clearly, with all of this richness and blessing that you've received all these years since, since your youth, um, you're completely confident that the guidance and the answer will come for you now as well as you're at this critical point. Fair to say?
If I lean into it, sometimes I'm not always that good at leaning into it. It's like I know what I need to do and I always don't do it.
And you're not talking about exercise, right?
Well, that too.
And eating well.
And
And maybe vacuuming.
oh yeah, there's that.
I just want to say hi to Gigi. So it'll be an interesting little time in the coming days and weeks as you decide that. I wonder if you just want to maybe clue us all into the relationship the friendship, the love you have for April, Juju, and how did you guys hit it off? And I told you before we went live that I, even with the playback speed sped up, I spent much of today watching a live that the two of you did. This is 10 months ago. With what was called 12 24-hour art craft support stream. I didn't really understand the premise of it, but from what I could tell, anyone who wanted to join could just join. I'm thinking, holy cow, somebody there must really have the tech gods on their side to try to accommodate people coming and going like that. But it was interesting because you introduced me, or that event introduced me to 3 other channels I had never heard of. I've now gone to them and subscribed to them. I found out that one is a fellow Canadian. So it really is kind of important, obviously, for us to support each other and to, follow the breadcrumbs to get to other people who've piqued our interest. Anyway, long preamble. Tell us about Juju.
So we met doing Dear Julie challenges. And
Julie. Oh, okay.
And so we both were just in her challenge crew. We did challenges and we met through that. And we just there was a handful of us who clicked really well together, and we've been friends for that amount for a long time. And Juju, Bonnie, Daisies and Grace is her channel.
Sorry, Daisy. Did you say Daisies
and Grace? So Bonnie is a moderator a lot for us and stuff. And
excuse me, let me just interrupt. As you are mentioning these channels, if they need spelling or clarification, I'm sure the girls will want to put them in the chat so that people can explore, because one of the whole ideas about doing this Heart to Heart series is that we learn about other people, and it's like a word of mouth endorsement when somebody says you've got to check out so and so. So was it Daisy and Grace or Daisies and Grace?
I believe she doesn't do a lot on her channel. She's on our channels more than not. She's like behind the scenes more. So Daisy and Grace Facebook group. So if you go Daisies and Grace.
Daisies and Grace. Okay, thanks.
Juju, help me out if we put a link in there, Ju. Those details I have to write it down and think, and my brain doesn't always work well with that. But it also has Bonnie L with her, so she's hard to find on YouTube. She doesn't have a lot there because she's much more a supporter. She doesn't put out a lot of content.
Yeah,
but she's in our chats.
I found the same with one of those other ladies, either Creative Nana or Create with Becca. Some of those
Creative Nana, the 3 of us are really the 4. It's the four of us who are pretty close.
Okay.
Creative Nana, Bonnie, Juju, and I, we all are pretty close.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've just we connected and we've just kept in touch since then, and we just have too much fun.
There is no such thing. And of course, another person that will not be a stranger to us in this series or in this chat is Yvette, because she also was a guest of mine some time ago. So maybe as you talk about Yvette and your connection to her, maybe you can also touch on all those sales venues. Okay, but before I let you do that, in this live that I watched on replay, you said that your goal was to make 20 to 30 journals a month. So again, this thing was streamed 10 months ago. You told me your personal goal for making journals for 2026. That is a mind-boggling number. So I think the fact that you have all these places that you sell your work sort of explains, the demand or whatever, and the fact that you're working that hard to do it. And this is going to be a multi-layered question. Are you extremely quick at what you do? Is that the way, like, what is your secret to getting this many journals done?
Okay, so my secret is I do focus on workflow. Like I have my room set up in a way that helps me do things. So I do work very fast, yes. Not as fast as Bonnie. Bonnie is going to kill us in another challenge I'll tell you about. But I have successfully done 2 years of 300 journals in a row. This last year, I don't think I did that. I may have. I'm with the sales in the shop, I'm thinking I was really close. But I focus so much more on upgrading my room and doing things to help me be quicker. I like to work out of more like kits than grabbing things from my room. So I actually make junk journal kits, and I'll just grab a kit and work out of it. And so I am pretty quick. I do work pretty much with a formula, and the shop, I have 40 journals in the shop at any given time. So I just figure I have at least that many in the shop. And
okay,
then,
so let me stop you there. When you say shop, you're talking about the Seaside, Crafted in Seaside, right?
right.
And to answer Teresa's question, Seaside is the name of a community in Oregon, right?
Right.
It's obviously a seaside community. And you sent me a clip of the actual store space, and it does look like a beautiful shop, and obviously very much, is it fair to say it's very much a touristy town?
It is. So a few years ago, the owner of the shop started a business where she wanted to highlight local artists, and she put a Facebook query out there. If you want to sell things in my shop, let me know. I asked her about, so I sent her some pictures of my junk journals, and I go, here are my junk journals. Let me know if you'd like them in the shop. And she goes, these junk journals are, your books are beautiful, but you need to have more confidence. Why are you calling them junk journals?
I would agree with her.
Yeah. And I go, it's a thing. And so I went and signed the paperwork, but you're right. I've had like 3 other people who are junk journal artists ask if you. So it was a thing that she was unfamiliar with, but she's very familiar with now.
So are you exclusively the only journal supplier to her store?
Yes.
So does she protect people in that sense that she doesn't?
Yeah. So there is a non-compete within her store, unless things are like, there is one gal who does altered composition books. They're so much different than mine. And then there's another girl who does scrapbooks, like pre-made scrapbooks, it's different than junk
Yeah.
journals, you know, so
Yeah.
she does delineate. And I don't only do the journals, I also have ephemera and supplies, and I make cards for the shop as well. So I keep it well stocked because you know you get a junk journal girl and they're going to want the fun ephemera or a kit to make. And she's very much a maker oriented. So having kits so that people can make and take,
Yeah.
that's the owner's heart. So I've sort of accommodated for that.
Yeah.
So I think this year I'm going to continue to create things for that shop. Whether I do that all year, I'm leaning more towards that way just because it's a good way to
Yeah.
thin the supply, right?
Yeah.
I do work quick. Also for Yvette, I consign with her, and she sells ephemera and supplies, and she takes artists who are journal makers and will sell your journals. And then there's a few of us that she also sells supplies for. And the two of us met through Nevermore Creations, Lindsay Zenor. We both started sending our journals to her when she had the consignment shop. And then Yvette purchased the consignment shop from Lindsay. And so I continued to sell my journals and ephemera to Yvette. And then I recently, this last year, I bought Lindsay's digitals. She had a library of digitals that I haven't done a lot with, but I wanted to have them available for the kits because I make so many kits, and it was just, I like to make digitals, but it sort of took the stress off. Knew I could print up something cute, put it in a kit. I had the license to sell it, and we were good to go. So, but Yvette had a retreat about 4 or 5 years ago, before COVID, or I don't remember. So we both are on the coast. So there's 6 of us, 2, 3, 8 of us who got together and had a retreat. So Yvette and I actually met in person, and now we meet at least once or every 2 months for Mexican food, and we meet halfway. So we're good friends as well.
Well, that's great. And you did tell me that you do have some digitals, essentially freebies at this point in your coffee shop, right?
Yeah, I have freebies. So if you go to scrapbooksage.com, it will go to my Ko-fi shop. If that changes in the future for a Shopify, I will let you guys know. Like I said, I had this plan to take off this great business, but now that's the focus is changing,
Yeah.
and time is just too short. Like I could do business, but my husband's a lot of fun. I want to hang out with him more.
And Teresa's, because of course she lives in Washington State, she says, I love, love, love Seaside.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And your buddy Juju is pointing out that you did the digitals for each of the 50 states for your country's 250-year celebration. So people could theoretically go to your shop, excuse me, if they live in the States, and get a kit for their own home state.
Right. And they were loosely inspired by the states. So pretty much I went to the symbols and made pages that inspired me from that symbolism,
Yeah.
like a bird or whatever. Sometimes it's the bird, sometimes it's a dress that is a reference to the bird or whatever. So,
So I'm always curious when people, like I have some digitals as well, but they're essentially things that, I went to the expense of buying something 100 years old out of copyright and so on, and putting it together, excuse me, with my limited skills. So I'm always curious when people, when you say that you've made digitals, did you come from a graphic design background, or are you self-taught, or are they fairly
does your book
simple,
count?
or does what?
Does your book count?
I was yearbook editor too.
Yeah.
Except I'm so old that back in the day it was all done like on paper, gluing.
Right.
Well, much like now, gluing stuff down to paper. Um,
I was part of the Apple revolution.
well, I'm,
We had
I'm,
an SE. We had an Apple SE in our art and yearbook room. So I got to play. Yeah, I remember what the year before I was trying to do things on DOS, and then the SE Mac came in. It's like I was the graphics editor for all the advertising, and I'm like, this is amazing. The rest is history. You know, I was of that generation. You know, when I was in school, they had us take classes of what we would be good in, and I was fascinated by the marketing, the graphics, non-traditional job for women, right?
yeah.
Well, then I decided I wanted to teach, and then I ended up realizing I'd be a lousy teacher, and that's why I don't teach online. I'm the curator, I'm the coordinator, I'm not the teacher.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so that's pretty much where I got my experience. I've always loved paper. And the thing about paper is it's beautiful artwork and it's this thin, so you can have a lot of it.
Oh dear. Okay, so I don't think we've still covered all the places that you have your stuff available. You're obviously consigned with created in Seaside or crafted in Seaside and with Yvette, but do you not have products in other gift shops as well in town?
Yeah, there is in a museum, the Kennedy Beach Museum, and Astoria has an antique alley that I've sold things in. So I was in 5 places at one point, and I was at a what is it called? An RV, a state park, at the store there. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I was in 5 shops. Now I do sell a little bit on Ko. I was in Etsy, but I'm closing that. I just had Brad redirect to Ko-fi. So I have some things in Ko-fi, and then I was also using Whatnot. I actually like using Whatnot. And then there's a couple gals online that sometimes I will sell on their channels. Some of the gals sell items on channels or have other hosts come on. So I did that a little bit the last year and the year before, just dabbled in it. But if I was going to sell anybody anywhere straight up, it would either be YouTube is starting to do that itself, as well as Whatnot. So those would be the 2 places online I would focus on, or buy a Shopify myself.
And you had already promised before we went live that you were sending me some YouTube stuff or a link to some YouTube stuff because you mentioned in your experience that, oh, if I say this out loud, will we go dead? You said that you had found that StreamYard wasn't quite cutting it for you anymore and you were making the move to YouTube Live. So yeah, you were going to share some
Restream,
references with
not YouTube Live. So
Oh.
I actually use Restream. Juju and I both use Restream, and a lot of
Oh.
people are using that. YouTube Live is viable, and I do that for myself when I just do videos and not streaming. But YouTube is starting to do that more. I just haven't learned that yet.
So when you say, so you say that, or let me be sure, you say that you would use YouTube Live if you were just crafting by yourself in your room, and just, so is that not the same as streaming?
Yes, I tend to historically, and what I do with YouTube is I just video and load up to YouTube. Personally, when I do my own videos, that's what I do.
Oh yeah.
Whereas streaming, I use Restream, which you do.
Okay.
Although we really hope that StreamYard will get better or something better will come out. But YouTube is starting to provide more of those opportunities.
Okay. I have heard of Restream before, but honestly haven't looked into it. For frugal cheapskates, is there a free version?
Yes, and it's cheaper than StreamYard, but it's not as user friendly as StreamYard. So you get Yeah, StreamYard is really good quality. It's like the Apple, and then yeah, it's tough. I'm hoping that there'll be enough pushback that one of one of them will pull it together in the next year.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else I have in my notes here. So one of the examples, or one of the things that you said before we went live was and you used some gestures to say how you kind of drill into something. So that was that. And again, I don't want to have the whole conversation with you before we go live and then, regurgitate it for the audience. So what I wanted to ask when I saw you doing that is, were you saying that by going deep into a particular topic or a particular project that you like, do you work and finish something and then you're into the next sort of project or silo or whatever those things were that you were indicating with your hands? Or do you have multiple things all going at the same time in various stages of completion?
I do both, but I do both. Sometimes I finish a project and sometimes I'll be working on 5 projects at one time. So, but my mind, the way it works is I go deep, and you can tell during our conversation, right? I'll go way down into one thing and then I'll come back out and switch on over to another thing. So that's just sort of how my mind works. So it takes, like, my husband will say something and my mind's like gone down that road and then he's pivoted to something else and I'm like, I'm still over here, give me a minute. So I find that just the way that I think, and it's hard sometimes socially because I just don't think of things as quickly, or I can't get myself out of where I've been. It like takes me a minute to climb out of that and get back into the next conversation or into the next mode of things. So, and I think that's probably where my intensity is. And I do use my hands a lot. I do know silent ASL, and so that's just how I process things when I'm
Yeah.
talking about things a little bit more complicated. It helps me
Yeah.
process things.
Well, and that is, I just wanted to say, Juju is saying, yes, I only use free version. I too am cheap or broke. So, okay, that's good to know that there is a free version. I just, frankly, even though I've said repeatedly that I am a lifelong learner, I prefer that it not all be technology that I'm having to learn and relearn because they change things every, 5 minutes.
We need to find somebody who will be a hub of services for us who just want to be artists. So we can like log in and say, hey, can you help make this happen for me? Thanks. And then we can just do the artwork. And that's why I do consignment, and I haven't focused so much on my channel and or selling myself. One, it's nice to be able to support the other gals. And two, I'd much rather make 500 journals than make 250 and have to do the balance of 250 journals time in tech. So I consciously make that decision.
Yeah. Well, and in one of the other videos, I didn't make note of which one which video specifically it was, but I imagine if it's a philosophical standpoint that you have, that you've probably said it more than once, you seem to have a very defined philosophy about pricing and accessibility. And by that, I mean making your product accessible to more people by creating a project within a certain price point. So do you just want to elaborate on that? Because sometimes I think we get married to a project and get carried away and lose sight of the man hours, the product, the time that it's all taking. And then when we realize we have this beautiful thing in the end and we realize, okay, if I was earning 50 cents an hour, what should this thing sell for? So tell us how you look at this.
So I look at it, what is your end goal? are you making for yourself? Or are you making for someone else? And that will help you decide how much time you want to spend on a journal, right? So I know when I make things for the shop, I'm making it for somebody else. I'm not making it for myself. I may enjoy the process, and I'm very comfortable working nose to the grindstone, just making things. But I can make whatever I want and play with fun, adorable designs or create something myself that will meet the need. If something's happening at the conference center that the cat people are coming to do a cat show, I better get 2 or 3 cat journals in the shop, right? I better get some volleyball journals in the shop because there are going to be some volleyball girls there. So I do think about that as far as, because I know who my target is, who I'm making these for. And if the owner of the shop did not know what a junk journal was 3 years ago, most people who walk into the shop probably doesn't know what a junk journal is either. So I can make an elaborate junk journal and they're going to do, what am I going to do with this? Or I can make a hybrid naked journal and I can have a few pockets here and there, but people recognize it as a journal with some cool stuff in it. They know what to do with that. So I don't have to explain myself too much.
Yeah.
And then you get the people who go in there and they're like, this journal is full of amazing ephemera, authentic stuff, and the price point's worth that, right? So you just have to decide what's the end goal. Same with our channels, right? I knew that, I'm having fun with my friends, doing some marketing out there, building a foundation. So when I want to take off in the future, at least I have that available for me. But I know I don't want to be a billion-dollar conglomerate business myself and run that. No, thank you. So I'm not doing the things that would make me do, put me into that position. So I'm happy to be behind the scenes and share a couple ideas, and people like the flip throughs, and we like the accolades a little bit. Hey, wow. It's fun to say, yeah, I can make 300 journals a year. And now Yvette's making me do 500. And Juju's, I was going to give up Calvin Ball. And then she gave me a 10,000 point challenge. And I'm like, what? So she wanted to smack down. I had to.
Yeah. And we are going to talk about your other 2 big projects for the year. That you are sure of at this point. I've in the video where I heard you talk about pricing, you were also referencing the fact that that you were trying to introduce a younger generation, a teen perhaps, into grabbing a journal, and getting kind of hooked on that. So, we know that people have less disposable income, and Juju says she's going to smack you down, that you're going to smack her down. So I just find that all very interesting. And I guess that, it points up again that as much as we all have a lot in common, we're all very different too. Because frankly, I think where we live and, like, hey, a resort town or a tourist hub is quite a bit different than me living 5 miles away from a community of 400 people, surrounded by other farmers. So it is, I think it's, so do you, now you've talked about some of your past jobs. Is it, I guess it's probably partly, as you said, how your brain works, the jobs you've had in the past. But do you also say at a year end, a calendar year end in December, early January, maybe do some meditation, some brainstorming, some vision boarding kind of stuff? Because your goals all seem pretty darn specific to me. So I'm curious as to whether you're acting intuitively or if you're a cold-blooded, lean, mean making machine.
Hopefully I'm not cold-blooded. I'm definitely not lean. I don't know if people think I'm mean, but I do like to make things like a machine.
Okay, I was partly right. So is it more intuitive or more deliberate, pencil to paper, brainstorming, vision boarding, uh, like a pencil and paper kind of exercise?
No, I love planning. When I was in yearbook, oh, my Johnston yearbook planner, I loved it. It was so amazing. And it was so cool. So I do plan things out a lot in my head, but I realize that I'm a functionalist. So with that said, I've learned for myself, I can spend hours playing in a journal and making all the dates and the time, planning things out. I love the idea of a bullet journal.
Yes.
I don't think I'm artsy enough for a bullet. I wish I was a true like traditional artist, like drawing, and I'm not. If you saw my last video with you too, it was scary, but but I might practice that a little bit more. So paper layering and stuff makes me feel like I can be a little bit artistic. You just give me scissors, glue, and paper, and I'm a happy girl. But no, I tend to be see, it's really I'm very spontaneous when I choose to do things, but I do like those processes. I've just realized they're not as efficient for me as just making a kit and grabbing a kit and go. So, and for the shop, I know it's like, okay, I want to have 4 nautical journals in the shop. It's springtime. I need 3 spring things in there. Valentine's coming in. So I've talked to you about being seasonal. I work much more seasonally and I work much more at like retail. And I do the OGBG, I do whatever that is, with the colors a little bit in my brain and how
Oh,
things work together. So because I worked at Goodwill, I supported all of my clients in their jobs. So I saw how the seasons work through the retail. So my brain just sort of, I
yeah,
think, automatically goes to let me work 3 or 6 months ahead of time.
yeah.
And then I'll fill in the gaps of whatever I don't have when I can. But really, I do spend a lot of time crafting and in my craft room. So I can if I want to make something, either I can print it or I can design it and print it, or I can take what I printed a year ago and grab and go.
Yeah.
It just sort of depends.
Um, okay. I don't, Jonna, I've seen your question. I am going to get there with it. Um, the thing that, the reason, now, obviously, the expression that came to my mind, I'm going to say it. I don't intend anything by it now that you've said, about your early family life. But as you were talking about the volleyball thing coming to town, the cat convention coming to town, I was thinking, well, her mama didn't raise no fool. You obviously are very attuned to what the marketplace wants and what your community needs and so on. So I think that is just plain smart. Um, I just want to not lose sight of Jonna's question. She's saying, does she have anything she makes that she can show us? I'm not familiar with her work. Would love to see it. She's so fun. I bet her journals are too. Are you reaching for a Calvin ball?
No,
Oh,
but
but okay, we will get
okay.
there.
So Crafted and Seaside, the owner sells old peachy folders. Remember those? Those on the West Coast do. So, a lot of people don't. But peachy folders, when we were in school, were folders that we took to school. And there were like tracker folders or whatever. You put your school notes, each subject in. So
Okay.
and then they had sports. So this is really popular nostalgia. So nostalgia is
Okay.
selling right now. Purple and teal are selling, just so you guys know. Those are colors that always sell. But this is a ship that is local, and I put the name of the ship here, and I did the peachy theme to mimic Dawn selling the sweatshirts that she sells in the shop, that you saw in the shop. So I just made this, and it's be going to the shop. There is,
Is that paper or fabric?
that's fabric.
Okay.
And then I just did all the pictures that I've taken. So it's I did all the pictures that I've taken of the Peter Iredale. So this is the ship. And I made a digital of all. my copy dyed paper, but anyways.
Okay, so
The di- so
Jonna,
that's-
Jonna remembers Peachy. Gigi said that she used those in school. Teresa says we had them in Colorado growing up. Denise says clever. Teresa says that's the ship that's stuck in the sand.
So my
Okay.
husband's retiring and his boss likes to dance. So I made a cute little dance digitals and a little journal with all the little critters dancing. So
Well, and I think Juju said that you made something for your husband that is owl themed.
for her husband, yes.
Oh, for her husband. Okay, I thought for your husband.
No, he's going to be a gaming one. So I've made all the things. I don't
Sandra. I don't know if I said hi to Sandra. Sandra from Blossom and Inspire is here as well. Okay, so I know that you are itching. Oh, okay. Well, okay, since you brought the big honking prop out, tell the group what you're doing with that in 2026.
Okay, so this last year we did the Celebrate America challenge where I made the digitals, and I needed a place to put all the digitals, and I wanted a time capsule for this year since we're celebrating America 250 years, right? So I cheated and used a stamp book that is huge because Juju wanted to make a 25-pound journal, and I have to do it with her, right? Because she's my friend.
Okay.
And that's how I get hooked in doing things. My friends make a suggestion, and then I have to do it, and that's where my big commitment.
Friends were going to jump off a bridge. Would you jump too?
Maybe.
Said mothers everywhere. Okay, let me just stop you there for a second. I don't know that the chat totally got this. Juju challenged her to make a 25-pound journal. Now, when you showed that earlier, I thought, isn't that a dictionary?
No, this is an old stamp book, or it's a stamp.
Oh, stamp. Okay.
And it has all the pages for stamps.
Yes.
And I'm just crafting page.
And it has the post binding, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. When you first held that up and showed it to me, I thought it was one of those giant fat dictionaries that has thousands of pages in it.
Yeah. So Juju
Sandra is asking for your link. So hopefully someone will put that in the chat. It is your channel name is Scrapbook Sage. Now you don't have a huge number of subscribers, but hopefully you get a few more tonight and through the replay. And I think are most of your videos, well, you describe what kind of videos you do.
Okay. Well, historically, I've mainly done flip throughs and or design challenges or challenge videos of if somebody's doing a challenge with the community, I'll play along like Defender and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This last year, mainly I've done lives with Mama Juju on Sunday afternoons where we did Celebrate America. And now we're doing the 25-pound journal challenge. So every Sunday at 3:00 Pacific time, we're working on pages for our 25-pound journal. Juju is amazing. She likes to share the glory. She has invited everybody to send a paper bag to her with their artwork, and she's getting it into her journal. And she's sharing the glory. Everybody's working on her 25-pound journal. Me? No. It's my journal, my time capsule, all about me and everything that's happening this year in each state that I want to do a deep dive on.
Okay, so now I'm confused. I thought that big stamp album was going to be the 25-pound journal, and you've called it a time capsule. But yet you're showing this Celebrate America thing. So which is it?
It's both.
It's both. Okay.
So I'm taking my digitals that I made last year and adding it into this journal for myself because I like the digitals I made. And
Yes.
even though I make journals, they usually go to the shop. But I hope, so if I don't do YouTube anymore and I don't sell anymore, I may have a wall or a room that will have all 50 states and all the countries by the time I die. So just so you guys know what my future is going to look like one way or the other.
Okay. So when Juju came up with this 25-pound thing, 25-pound journal challenge, was that part of the celebration thing, or a person could do it on any?
No, it was her looking at seeing what the heaviest journal was and she wanted to beat it. And then we were sitting around talking and she's like, we should make it a 25-pound journal because we're doing the 2025 celebration. So we'll just make that part of that process. Because I had wanted to do what you were doing by inviting this year, but then Dad died and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to pull it off. So I wanted to interview an artist from every state and celebrate America through the people this year. Is what I had hoped to do on Sundays. Like we were talking about different people from different states and having them on with Mama Juju and I. But I just wasn't able to make that happen. Someday.
I'm just going to put it out there. If you girls ever want to invite me to be part of a live with you, with Juju and you, like, hey, I'm there.
Cool.
I wanted to say hi to Vicky. Vicky was our guest last week, Retro Queen BR. She says, I'm finally here. I had to take care of a Medicare issue costing me $1,000. Yikes. Yeah, that's the reality. Vicky, just for your satisfaction, I put your rubbing alcohol advice to work and it worked like a hot damn. So if anyone has gross, gunged up bristle brushes, like paint brushes, she suggested last week that we use rubbing alcohol and it did clean them up remarkably. So thank you for that advice. Okay. So 20-pound journal is not for the faint of heart. And Teresa is still on the nude beach thing. She wants to know if Vicky found the nude beach. So, do you know offhand how many people are doing the 25-pound journal challenge? Is it just the two of you?
It's 3 of us for sure. But then it's all of Juju's community because she's asking them to send her a paper bag and she's adding it to her journal. So
yeah. And you have the entire calendar year to get it done.
Yeah, she's not sticking to just the states where I'm a little bit geeky about just geopolitics and like current events and stuff like that. So I love history. So I want to take information that I just find interesting and put it, like Alabama Space Command just moved to Alabama, so I'm putting that information in there. And there's a lot of fun stuff that happened with Alaska. I'm putting that stuff in there and writing current events with those things. So for me, it's a time capsule and just having fun how things relate to me and those states. So it's just going to be, okay, let's do the states, and it's my thing. So
yeah. Apparently the back 40 people are called chickadees.
They are.
Very good. Now, another thing that you told me about in the email, and I watched a video on, and you shared a very proud moment, a very proud thing or object that you have in your studio. Tell us about your crush on Calvin Ball, because I too am a Calvin and Hobbes fan.
So you guys love Calvin and Hobbes. So cute, right? He is so fun. There is an artist, I'm sorry, back up. Calvin and Hobbes is this cartoon, and the scrapbook community about 10 years ago or whatever, started a challenge called Calvin Ball. And somebody else had been in charge of it, but the person who's been in charge of it for the last 5 or 6 years is Alice Ball with Scrap Happy. Everybody go to Scrap Happy, check out her videos, have fun with her, sign up for her newsletter. You'll have a great time. But for the whole month of March, she does an event called Calvin Ball. Well, Calvin, the kid in the comic, does not like institutional sports. And so he made a rule, he made his own game called Calvin Ball, where there's no rules. The only rule is you can't have the same rule twice. So that's sort of the idea of Calvin Ball. You can make a project, and Alice will put down, like, the first day she'll give you 5 prompts, like a star, something green, an arrow, gold, whatever. And if you work on a project and you put down a star, you get a point for that star. If you put something green, you get a point for that green, and then you can double dip. If you have a green star, 1 green star, you get 2 points. So at the end of the month, whoever gets the most points wins, just for the glory, no other reason, just for the glory. Well, if you guys know, there's just a different way of working when you do a scrapbook page and when you do a junk journal page. And I love junk journals because they're accessible, right? You can put anything in it as quick as you want. It could be fun. So most junk journalers probably can make pages faster than most people can scrapbook. So I was getting a lot of points. So I liked setting myself goals. I say I don't like to set goals, but I do set goals. And so every year, like my first year was like 5,000 points and then 8,000 points. And so Juju in June, it's like, I'm not going to do this anymore because I hate counting the points. So mid-year last year, Juju made a thumbnail that said Mama Juju and Scrapbook Sage, 10,000 points smacked down, Calvin Ball. This was in June. She sent it to me.
Smackdown.
So now I have to count 10,000 points in March. Well, I do like, I love my Calvin Ball. I play, it's my Disney World. Alice is hilarious. The gals are great. So my best friend who's in India right now, or one of my good friends, she's been a business partner. Her kids call me Yummy, all the things. Well, she knew that I was a little bit crazy about Calvin Ball. And so she got the little Calvin Hobbs, Dawn Yami Orahood, Calvin Ball, all-time grand champion of the universe. Because we don't get a trophy, you just get the glory. So then she made this little
trophy,
but that's not the best part of it. Trisha is more gregarious than me. She's in India right now as a missionary. Well, but you can't say that. And so she went to all the little shops in India, and she's like, "Do you have let me see all your trophies. Let me see them." And she's like, "Do you have a star? Do you have something green with a green arrow? Do you have this?" She's so intense. She is really, really intense. And all these Indian people are probably looking at this American gal going, "You are a crazy lady." And so she ended up buying 3 trophies and put them together and brought it home. So she stayed with me for a week. She put the trophy up so I didn't see it, and she did videos seeing when I would notice. It took me a day and a half. So I'm embarrassed about that. But yeah. So she caught the green arrows. She's got the green arrows. She got the heart and the cats. She got the stars and the gold, and she just put it all together. So she has lived, we've been close. And so she has seen me go crazy during Calvin Ball. And but 10,000 points is going to be so hard.
I have to say, you're not doing a great job of selling us on this. You're making it sound like it's kind of an out-of-body experience. having to count points too. So
Oh
it
yeah, so you can
it
play
sounds
without
intense.
counting points. You can play without counting points. You don't have to get the glory. You don't have to be driven and crazy like I am and enjoy the process immensely. Just saying.
Oh dear.
So, but
Unless
Bonnie's gonna whoop us both because yeah.
unless
So
of
Daisies
course
and Grace, she'll
Juju
whoop us
has.
both because she makes more journals than I do. She historically has made 3 times as many journals than I have. So,
Okay, and the Bonnie you keep talking about is Daisies and Grace, right?
yeah, Juju, is it Daisy and Grace or Daisies and Grace? I always mess up on that. I'm sorry. There's a Facebook page. So, but
And
if it's Bonbon, just say hi to Bonbon and Juju's chat, and you'll click on her thing and you'll go to her page.
well, and one of the girls put Bon Lipke in the
There you
description
go.
box, so that would be the one. And you told me that Alice Ball is a Canadian, and you think she lives in British Columbia, so she must be as crazy as the rest of you.
Well, I'm not quite sure where her and her Allison helps her. They're both from 2 different provinces. I don't remember which ones exactly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. One other thing that I picked up from watching one of the videos, which I thought was a really clever idea, if I understood it correctly, and it's something you referred to as a tear journal. Do you know what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to?
Yep. Yep, just a moment.
Yep. Hi, Christina. I did want to, while she's looking for whatever it is that she needs there, I just wanted to put in a bit of a plug for a live that I'm doing next Tuesday with Sandy, aka Wilhelmina. Just one second, Dawn. So I'll have a notification on my channel. Now, you know that she's one of the people that I invited to do heart to heart with, but at this point, she's still reluctant about showing her face. So maybe I will grill her as we are chatting, and that might be as close as we ever get to that. I haven't mentioned that to her, to be honest, so maybe shh. But anyway, that is going to be 10 o'clock Mountain on Tuesday. Yeah. Anyway, carry on, my dear.
Okay. So, you know how we have those little scraps that are sitting around after we work on a project or as we're working on a project and we're not quite sure what to do with them. So I'll just make a journal out of something. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signatures. And I just did a brown bag. And so as I'm sitting down, I will just glue something on. And then I can tear these out and back them. I didn't do the back. And make pockets out of them or build it out. So I could just go through here. It's, oh, I'm working on a turquoise journal. Okay, this can go on it and I can back it and it's good to go. So this is actually for Trisha, though, my friend who's coming back from India. So she gets all my tear journals because, yeah.
Okay, so essentially you've sewn the signatures in, but it's easy enough to tear out an individual page. So what would you do with this now? Would you square it off and back it? Would you further decorate it? Like what? Or you can use it however you want, I guess.
If I'm doing an eclectic journal, I probably leave it as it is.
Okay.
If I could make it into ephemera and sew around it, put lace underneath it and make it really fancy and do some more stuff to it.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to be a base and it can build on each other if it needs to.
Yeah.
Like I said, Trisha's amazing. She I'll just put things that I don't love anymore into a bag and hand it to her and she goes, oh, I love this. She makes me feel like I'm giving her a wonderful gift. And
now, oh, sorry, I just wanted to interrupt and say there's a Brittany Wee here. Do you know her?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, welcome, Brittany. First time I'm seeing your name. Welcome, welcome. So I thought if I didn't know her, maybe you did. And so people are welcoming
I
her.
did post in Yvette's Facebook channel, and she has a lot of people there, so people may have seen that,
Okay.
and I may not know them. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And Vicky says an idea only. A medal would be good, but a trophy can be costly. Oh, and she's saying that she has two, and Brittany is saying that she has two cats. Sorry, I'm losing track of what's going on there. So I really liked that idea, and frankly, calling it a terror journal makes its purpose abundantly clear, because sometimes we do things and maybe we're not quite sure why. I like it because it cleans, has the potential to clean one's desk at the end of the day. And there, other people have other strategies, but that's why I love these conversations, because every time we hear something new, we get another option at our disposal, another tool in our toolbox, and the ability to pick whatever works for us. I know that a friend of mine and I adopted her idea, a little binder, and every time she has a small little whatever, she glues it into the book, and those they grow up to be clusters.
Right.
And yet they're all neatly stored on these base papers, so it could be cardstock, it could be a scrapbooking paper, graph paper, whatever. And then when you need one, you go to your little binder and just rip it out, and all the others are still neatly stored there. So same idea, just maybe a different scale. Because how big are those pages in that book? About 5 by 5, maybe?
5 by 5, 5 by 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a sheet of the Amazon craft paper, and I decided, I'll make a journal out of this and build it up.
Okay, so let's carry on here. Let me just have a quick look at my notes and see if I have missed anything. Now, I know that you had a number of people take part in your 12 by 12. Okay, what was the official title of your 12 by 12 challenge?
Oh, the 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge, 24 and 25. So 6 of us did it in 24, and about 10 of us did it in last year. We all got, so we all either did lives or 2 videos a month, encouraging people to make a junk journal that month. So it was just, and it was just an opportunity for we all want to make things, and it was sort of the our bucket list journals, because like for me, a lot of times I'll make journals for the shop, but it's not necessarily for me.
Yeah.
Me doing a journal a month is no big deal, but me doing a journal, one of my bucket list journals, might be a big deal. So it was just one of those things, or a project, and we really opened it up to not just be for junk journals. It was, if you need to clean your room or your space, we opened it up beyond the junk journals. We just thought 12 months, 12 projects. That was pretty much the idea.
And I think Caroline's Craft Tree took part.
Some print creations, Carolyn's Craft Tree. Gosh, I still have that paper? I don't know if I still have my paperwork. Juju, Bonnie, Deb Ham, Kentucky Crafter, Joanne's Junk Journals and More. She's also a Canadian. Yvette and me, and Creighton.
So how, because these people, was it open to anybody who wanted to join, or was it by invitation?
No, we all just did. The 6 of us did the collab, and we invited everybody to join us just by using the hashtag. And then the next year, the collaborators, I just had each of the girls invite somebody to join us, and some of the gals who were invited weren't able to stick around.
Okay, it sounds like a good idea, because who doesn't have 12 by 12s that they want to get rid of? And who
Well,
doesn't?
it wasn't necessarily 12 by 12 papers. It was just 12 months by 12 journals.
Oh, okay. Now it becomes clear. Okay. And who doesn't
Or
want to
12
end up with
projects.
12 completed projects? Because, and I should probably ask you that. Do you have things that you start and never finish?
Yes and yes. I know. Well, it depends on when I think like I make kits and I have tons of started journal covers. So,
Yes.
but again, it's more, I think that's more workflow for the business. So it's like the things that I make for the business, I usually am pretty good at finishing or they're in the queue to finish. So yeah,
Now
things
tell
for my, but
in
things for
under the
myself, I finish.
okay, and this would come under a lie detector type question. Um, Juju says no. LOL. So is that so I don't know if she's talking about herself or about you.
Well, no, she knows the piles of boxes that I've started things,
Oh,
but in my head, I don't think it started until it's like, oh, I'm committing to make this journal
okay. Well,
out of
so,
my
so
kit.
it's all in the definition of what is
Well,
starting.
because you've got those prints that the reason I say that is because you know at the end, if you have HP and you have to print off a whole bunch of stuff because you're going to lose your overflow prints, then I just print a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't call that started. Those are just prints that need to be put into a kit, and the
I don't
kit
know what
needs to be
what I
built
don't
up.
even know what you're talking about.
HP, like you spend so much money a month to
Oh,
get so many prints on HP
okay, I
printer.
see.
So like I will pay for 500 pages to be printed a month. But if I have rollover and I need to use up that rollover, I'll just print it up.
Okay.
And then I will organize that stuff. So I have thousands of unfinished projects. But in this brain of mine, I finish a project when it's on my desk to be started within the week usually.
Christina is saying I could make 12 by 12 journals and have paper left to get rid of.
Right.
Yeah.
And that goes either into a new kit or ephemera that I send to Yvette or
yeah.
yeah.
And Vicky is saying open enrollment collabs are fun to meet new crafters. Okay, good. Okay, let me see what else I've got here. Oh, I haven't asked you the introvert extrovert question.
Because I'm an ambivert.
Do I have to add now an extra option to my question?
You do, because
Um,
we're out there.
and did you make that up?
No, actually, I mentioned it when you were interviewing somebody, and she was one as well. No, an ambivert is a mix of both. So sometimes I get filled up by chatting with people and hanging out, and I get my
Yeah.
energy there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get my energy by just being quiet. And Juju can attest to that. I'm a very quiet crafter.
Okay. Well, I did notice in that live replay that I watched today that even though at times there were 4 of you on the screen, at times there was absolute silence because everyone was just like nose to the grindstone, shoulder to the wheel, eye on the ball, just creating, creating, creating. And I'm thinking, this is a way to get stuff done, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So we'll put one under the ambivert column. And how do you feel about purple, my dear? You mentioned that and teal is a perennial bestseller or
They
good
sell.
seller.
Teal's my favorite color, and I love
Oh.
all the colors, but
But teal has your heart.
yeah, teal and pink. But I love whatever I'm working on. So
Yeah. Oh, see, and Carol's favorite color combo is teal and pink. So you guys are twins.
I have two journals on my desk here that are of the same fabric that are purple. You would be proud.
Okay, so based on last week's interview with Vicky, I said I was adding a couple basic questions to every interview from now on. I have no idea how old you are, and you don't have to tell us. But we're all aging, obviously, day by day. What is the best part of getting older, in your opinion?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I'm a little bit spoiled right now because I'm going to be retiring from my husband.
Well before the time you theoretically should be retiring,
Yeah,
right?
right. Um, I think just getting older, yeah, you cannot care about things more. Like the little things don't bug you as much. You don't get
Yeah.
put into a tailspin as much.
Yeah.
It's because you've been there, done that. Why am I going to put myself through that?
Yeah.
You appreciate the simplicity of life. Yeah, I just don't feel like I don't know. Yeah.
Would it be fair to paraphrase that and say that you have your priorities straight? Like, like don't sweat the small stuff because there are more important things to spend one's time and energy on that, you know.
Yeah. And I think you really want to value that. Like I have a hard time, like our life is so non-traditional. Like since we don't have kids and family nearby, um, we've been able to live like really enjoy what we do ourselves. And we both got married. We're older, so we knew we weren't going to change things with each other. Um, so I just feel like I'm more spoiled than most people. So I don't know that I've learned anything or that I love anything being older. I I've just been blessed so much. I feel like every season of our lives, we can either see the blessings or the curses, right? It's there's good things and bad things about
Yeah.
each part of our life.
It does seem that you're a very cheerful person and that you do, and again, it maybe goes back to your rock, bedrock belief and faith. It seems that you're very optimistic and I would say even peaceful. Is that is that right? Or
Yeah, I think that's true.
you're in a good place and you recognize and appreciate the fact that you're in a good place.
That is true.
Yeah. Um, Teresa says the hardest thing for me to get used to with us both retiring is getting used to him being here all day. LOL. And I think
Y-
that those men who haven't had the time or opportunity to cultivate some interest when they were, busy at work, quite often can become a curse to the little woman when they do start spending time at home full time because they don't have anything to sort of divert their attention. They kind of micromanage the wife, like, well, why are you doing it that way? Or why didn't you do that? Or whatever. But I'm thinking that you guys maybe have a different relationship and you're not worried about that aspect of it.
No, I will do that to him, unfortunately.
Well, soon,
Poor Tater, yeah.
next thing we hear is that he's looking for a new job, right? I gotta get
Hopefully not.
away from that
Well, he
woman.
told me, he's like, maybe this summer I'll work part-time. And I'm like, I look at him like, are you crazy?
Teresa says, sometimes I need to break a thing or two for him to fix. Like a
Yeah.
honey-do list.
I think it's going to be really interesting because neither one of us are very handy around the house. Neither one of us are very good with that. But I do like to garden. So I think if you guys don't see me, there are projects I have been wanting to do for years around the house. But because of my health and some other things, I have not been able to do a lot of things. So just having another person around while I do tackle those things will be wise. And so I hope to be outside when it's sunny. I want to have a moss yard instead of grass and do like a Japanese garden thing. He loves anime. We both love watching anime together. We want to travel. We'll see how that goes. He loves, he's a maker too, but he just hasn't had a chance to do it. He's got a few slate coasters in the shop, and he likes to do woodwork. So whether I come back and we have a shared business name, or whether if we do something that because we're bored with the other things in life, we shall see.
Yeah.
But we both like to read books. We like to game, and we like anime. I think we're gonna enjoy the rainy days, and we'll enjoy the sunny days. Enjoying Oregon, like we haven't seen Oregon together because of his job. He
Yeah.
works, comes home, those 2 days he's tired. So now we're going to be able to see this beautiful state, and I'm excited. We're going to have a good time.
I always had Portland on my bucket list of places I wanted to go. And is it true that your state still doesn't have sales tax?
Yes. How long that's going to be the case is another story.
Oh,
Portland's not as pretty as it used to be. So sad. Come to the coast.
I understand that driving in Portland is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And I know it's risky generalizing about anything, but would you say that that Oregon has a disproportionately high number of creative people?
I don't know if it's disproportionate. I think it's accepted as a life, like the opportunities to be artistic here and the sources that would pay for that, I think are more because it's a tour, both because of the weather, you have to do things inside to keep yourself occupied. But I think all of us are creative, so I have a hard time lining up which is that way of thinking.
Yeah. Well, it could be just one of those things that, it's maybe a false conclusion I came to just because, some of the magazines and so on I get, or, YouTube creators or whatever, I think, oh, another one from Oregon.
Yeah.
It's hardly statistical or scientific in any way. Another question that I thought that I would begin asking this year, and I started with Vicki last week, was do you believe in selecting a word for the year? And if so, what is it and why?
I used to. I haven't this year because my mind is blown. And because I was thinking, is it pivot? Is it celebrate? Is it retire? Is it step back, reassess? So yeah, I haven't been able to pick one because my mind's blown.
Okay.
I like the idea. I
Yeah.
like the idea of doing it, and it's worked a few years for me. I just haven't this year. It's like I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to put that pressure on me.
Yeah. So just maybe for people who haven't tried the practice, on the years that you did do it and the years that it either worked or didn't work, what made the difference? How did you put your intention into action?
So like one year I had bold. And that was just being bold and making some in the way that I tackled life. I'd put things out there a little bit more readily and just go for it. What was
So how did you remember to do that? Did you have the word posted around where you might see it and be reminded? Because I think
had
sometimes
girls over at my house and we made a vision board.
okay, good. Because
I coordinated an event.
Okay, good. Because it's like people who on January 1st start this new gym membership, and by February the gym is empty again. So sometimes we have good intentions and we want to jump on a bandwagon and do it because it seems like it will help us or it'll be fun or whatever. But then life gets in the way, and some of these new things that haven't exactly become a habit yet fall away. So you did have visual reminders to remind you to
Yeah,
be bold.
right, right. And like a good example, like I have been playing with a carnivore lifestyle. I haven't like totally embraced it. Um, I was really good on it for about a year and a half and lost 50 pounds, and I've gained most of it back, but I've been losing it again. Um, so yeah, that definitely happens. But I'm really grateful that even what I did, it prevented me from being 500 pounds. It was like it made a difference in my life. It stopped where I was going,
Yeah.
or I wouldn't be here, I think. It was going to be one or the other. So I think there are things in our lives that um it's good to set those goals, and even though we may fail, or it may not look like we're super successful, or we fall off the bandwagon, um, it may have been just enough to get us to pivot into a better direction and to practice new things in a way that we may not have practiced before. So I'm really good at, okay, I need to at least be under 50 carbs a day, right? It's like I might not be down 25 carbs, but this week if I'm down to 50, I'm good. It's better
Yeah.
than the 200 or 2000 that I was
Yeah.
consuming before. So those are things that are good. I don't think people should push off those vision things, because I think if we think about something, we can move towards it. And you can tell if I say something, I want to do something, I try to make it happen, even if it's silly, like making a 25-pound journal, or doing a smackdown with Juju because it's been suggested.
Yeah.
So there are things that we can do. You don't have to do things as frivolously as I do. See what I mean? How I have a hard time answering. I do really frivolous things, and I do really, purposeful things. I can't.
Well, I, okay, I'll pick up on that in a second. I just want to acknowledge Lori's little bit of Crafton. Do you know her?
Yes,
Okay,
she
good.
is with.
Welcome. Nice
She's
to
one
have
of
you, Lori.
Juju's. Her and Juju are working on things together.
Oh, that's great. And Teresa says, life leads us where we are supposed to go. That's her motto. So, that ties in with the point you were making. And I noticed that Gigi reminded people to give this live a thumbs up. And of course, same request if you're watching it on replay. And of course, the reason we have moderators and the reason we are putting links in there is so that we check each other out, and do the easy thing: subscribe, watch some content, give it a thumbs up. Hopefully people have the feeling from having conversed in the chat that it's a good, that, hey, I feel a connection, I have a face to go with the name, I have, something she said touched me. And in that way, oh, Vicky is saying, in a way, your word is weight loss. What I was thinking is probably your word is pivot, because you have used it several times tonight. And I think it's not that we should be telling you what word to choose, because that's wrong. But it does seem to describe the point in time for you, and it's so open-ended. You could interpret it in any way you want, and it would still make sense. Okay. Crafting on the back case, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, great team boss. You need a demonstrator to look her up. Want to become a demonstrator, look her up, join our team. What is all that about?
Lori, little bit, and Juju.
Okay, Lori. Okay. Sandra, life lessons, right? For whatever reason life takes us, we learn, grow, no matter how hard or how beautiful. And Juju saying that she is shameless. um, so we've already talked, I think, about all the 3 projects that you know that you intend to work on, unless you pivot. Is there anything else that you would like to talk to us about? One comment that I noticed in that live replay that I watched was that you were talking to the other ladies and you said that your scrapbook technique is simple and whimsical. Does that pretty well sum up your whole style? Or was it just that particular thing that you were working on in the video?
No, I think about 80% of the time I'm simple and whimsical. One, because I know my target population. My sister was really sweet to help me get a branding person and give me some advice on the business earlier, because I was like gonna do. She's like, you really need to make some luxury journals, and I'm like, oh, but that just isn't me. Although I see her point, they take a lot of time to do. I'm not quite sure I'm there yet, but I do want to do some down the road. So
Did
I
you,
think,
excuse me, did you say mugs? What did you say? That you need to make what for your journals?
luxury journals, like
Oh,
more
Lux. Okay.
luxe. Mhm.
Okay.
So, and she challenged me to do one by the fall, and I didn't do it. But Sarah Lee Armstrong makes some beautiful junk journals, and so if there's somebody that I wanted to learn from and learn those type of techniques from, that would be the gal that I would love to learn things from. She just has a style, and she is an art teacher, so she's got a skill set there I don't know that I have. The reason I'm whimsical is, look at me, it's me, right? So it's like, I can't sew perfect, I can't draw perfect, but I can take cute things and put them together and lay them on the paper, and sometimes they'll be glued together, but it's a junk journal, thank God.
Well, and Juju is saying that you do very pretty luxe journals when you make them, and that she's the proud owner of one named Rose.
She has a pretty one.
Would
I've
you
got one from her too.
Would you please repeat the name of your person that you would consider a mentor? Did you say Sarah Lee
Armstrong?
Oh, Armstrong.
She just makes some beautiful fancy journals.
Yeah.
But now whether I will have the patience to do a journal like that is questionable, because I do get bored pretty quick. It's like, if I can't make a journal pretty quick, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. I think one thing that I've noticed about myself is that I can be watching a video and admiring somebody's style or finished project in a flip through and be so enamored and so wowed by it, but not enough to the point that I would try to do one like that. So I don't know,
Right.
Maybe you're just not maybe that's
Right.
not your thing.
Well,
It's
and
just
I've made like the grunge traditional journals, whatever. And then they're not my favorite. I like the idea of making them more than making them, I think. And it is important to recognize what your style is. Like, being on the coast and in Portland. And being aware of what influences your style, right? Part of it is your capabilities. Part of it is your resources. I have all the things, but I didn't always have all the things. So I was a little bit more simple. Part of it is your history. I'm a journaler. I do not want a journal full of a whole bunch of pockets and flip outs and flip throughs, because I want to write in my journal 10 pages uninterrupted, and maybe have a pretty page here or there. And so because I'm a journaler, that's how I like to make journals, or at least start for people. But I know that I will make a journal that I hate, and I'll put it in the shop, and it will be the first to go. So I have learned that too.
Yes.
And people go, I cannot make something I don't believe in or I don't like. And I'm like, if you go to craft shows and you have 25 journals out there and only 5 of them sell, if one of those 5 ones is not your favorite and it's the first one to go, you're not going to care. You're going to make what you're going to make.
Yeah.
So again, it's your audience, right? Who is it that you're making for?
Yeah.
And I also want to say, you guys don't forget the guys.
Yeah.
Because we do make journals for men and get them out there for men to use, because
But are the women buying them?
both do.
Really?
Well, I go to events. I'm in a high trafficked area with people on vacation. So the owner of the shop that I sell in, she goes, "You got 2 people who buy journals. I'm buying this for myself, or I'm buying this for myself, or I'm buying this to represent the weekend that we're here together. Or Aunt so-and-so would love this. She loves ducks. My friend loves avocados. This is such a cool journal. Oh my goodness, I've been wanting to have a recipe journal. Oh my goodness, I love turtles. I have not seen turtles kissing like this. They're so cute." You know? So the whimsy sells, the nostalgia sells. Again, know where we're at, and look on Etsy, see what the trends are. Do those things because they do work. And you
Yeah.
were talking about that, whether that's being authentic or not, and to who you are with trends and stuff. You're talking with one of your other people about that. And I think it's important you're making it, what you have around you, who you are, that's authentic to you.
Yeah.
And the reason you're making something that might not be in your wheelhouse is because you're making it for somebody else, right? And so that you're blessing somebody with something that they would love and that they would embrace.
Well,
So,
the reason I'm sorry, the reason I'm kind of laughing is because I learned that very lesson when my mom and I had a bricks and mortar store. Because of course, when you're stocking a store, you sure as hell hope that somebody wants to buy this stuff. And quite often, I would buy things that I loved and would be horrified if they didn't sell. And then other times I would see something that I thought was ugly as sin and people were gaga over it. So what the heck do I know? So I think that it's what you said is true. And I also think it depends what our motivation is. If people are doing this simply to, um, again, scratch that creative itch, that's one thing. If a person is doing it to recoup some money, to cover some supplies, and possibly make $1 or 2, then that's a different motivation. And there's nothing wrong with either one. It's just whatever mindset, personality, circumstances we find ourselves in. So um, I've been all my life I was mature beyond my years and serious and grown up and responsible and all those things that we're kind of led to believe are good qualities. But honestly, through this, I'm learning that whimsy, collage, putting wings on animals or people and putting crowns on whoever, why not? Life is short. Why not have some fun with some of this more lighthearted, some might say superficial, some might say silly stuff. But again, why not? We only go around once, and I think that's kind of what I'm learning in this. I just want to pick up on some of the this. Okay, you were talking about this Sarah Lee Armstrong. Um, Juju is saying Sarah's awesome, and no, I would not have the patience. Teresa says that her page, Sarah's page, says crafting from my bedroom. And then she corrected that. No, junk journaling from my bedroom. So I don't know what that means. But anyway, Dawn does not like to get messy, but I'm trying to rub off on her. LOL. So you don't like to get messy?
no.
Not really.
Well, okay, let me clarify that. I don't like getting messy in a room that I don't want to be messy.
But
So
your
in my craft
studio,
room, I don't want my craft room. Well, I was in the dining room, so I didn't want
okay.
paint on the floor. I didn't want
Oh,
other places.
yes. Yeah.
Now I'm in a really pretty room that I still don't want to get messy because I'm maybe down the road I will be there. So I should just paint outside or take the paint to the bathroom so I can wash things off really quick. You know, so I really don't like getting messy now.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
and
like
no
it.
one should be trashing their house in the process of making stuff, I don't think, you know, but again,
Yeah, but I'm
it's,
me, and the reality is it's
yeah.
like I could go out to the garage and paint or do jelly printing. Like it's amazing that Juju can do jelly paint. I would have paint all over my camera. I would be I'd be cleaning up that mess. I would have paint on my lights. Oh yeah, I'm just not that great
Well,
at.
she was funny in that replay because at one point she left to go, I don't know, put on socks or something because her feet were cramping because she was cold. And then next thing I know, she's whipped out a gel plate, and I'm thinking, who has all this stuff right around her to just impromptu do that? Anyway, okay. Retro Queen Vicky says Lori is my demonstrator as well. Check stamp it up, son of her, blah blah blah. Okay, so that was still about the Lori thing. We are kind of sorry, not really. I don't know what that means. Okay, so
She's outing me not getting messy. What was that? What did you? What? That's what Juju said, right? That's what that was all about. I know what that was about.
yeah, well, you can get even with her later and say that next year's challenge is
Smack her down.
35-pound journal. An ADD crafter. Okay, we need to start winding down. So, do you have any final thoughts, advice? I think you've shared a lot of really practical stuff and new things for us to think about. Pleasing the customer, if we want to, and not necessarily staying so rigid about our own likes and tastes, but trying to appeal to a broader audience. You know, a simpler, a more naked journal that takes less of our time is obviously going to be priced lower than one of the, you know, the big smack me, y'all hear her. I don't even. Okay, what is that? I don't know what that acronym is. So there's that whole. Okay, what does that acronym stand from? Before IMAOROFL. I'm laughing my
rolling on the floor,
rolling,
laughing.
Okay. For a nurse, she sure tries to incite violence, doesn't she? Okay, so we've learned that we can all probably up our productivity, that we can either set goals on paper or have them up here. We can ask for the Lord's help in getting, getting through and getting, and bring a little more blessing into our lives. And, maybe just examining our beliefs and our philosophies around products, pricing, markets. You obviously hustled around town when you got your products into those 5 different stores. So it means sometimes just gathering up one's courage and taking a little portfolio of stuff in, or a little whatever, a sampling of one's works, and saying, would you be interested in carrying this in your store? Yeah.
And I want to say, you guys, our community is amazing. You know, we are so blessed to have each other. And oh my goodness, we get to hang out. I'm talking to somebody in Canada on a Wednesday afternoon, and we're laughing and having a great old time, and all of our girlfriends are chatting and talking smack about us at the same time. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? So the thing that I love, so I guess the takeaway or where I'm going and things that I get excited about, I want to encourage people to get. We are living in such amazing times. There's sad times, there's hard times, yes. But we're also living in times where technology, that AI, there's stuff that's a little bit scary. But the flip side of it is they're just tools. And so I want to encourage people to just embrace the season and find the amazing things that are happening around us and just enjoy the process, whether it's, whatever it is. There's so many cool things that are going on. And that's why I'm doing the time capsule, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, what is happening in this world? And you talked about the whimsy. Turn of the century, all the Victorian stuff that we love, they love the whimsy. You see the little hearts, you see the little cupids, you see the cute little kids all dressed up as fur clothes. The hearts, the roses, the flowers. What was whimsical then? What they had access to, that was their whimsy.
Yeah.
There's funny story. There's funny things back that we look in the advertisement and we laugh like, oh my goodness. So it's funny
True.
because we think grandma and grandpa told us not to. They'll pull on our ear or whatever, keep us in line and stuff. But we also have the funny stories of them making us laugh and do the silly things, right?
Yeah.
So that whimsy, and that's why we love Juju, because she's hilarious, right? I'm so intense and so like business minded. It's like, oh. And then if I'm talking about anything I'm totally in love with, I go so far down the hole. It's like, okay, nice to see you, Don. I'm out of here. So, anyways,
I want to well, I don't know if this will be the last word necessarily, but Vicky said something kind of good here. What I hear, people buy handmade, meaningful objects they're responding to. Emotional resonance, narrative, like the story of the maker, perceived care and attention, uniqueness. So, we can probably marinate ourselves a little bit in some of those words. If we're putting ourselves into it, you mentioned the nostalgia word. If we're evoking maybe a time that was, um, I usually would have said kinder, gentler, but who knows? That probably wasn't the case then either, but a different time. Um, Hopefully the heart and the quality and the intention that we put into our products becomes visible in the product, especially those people who are relying on a flip through video to point out the qualities and the thought process. So I think that is food for thought. And then Teresa says technology brought us all together, right? This is It's all in how we use it. And of course, I think we're all choosing to use it for good, not evil. So that's a good thing. And I just want to I want to thank you, Dawn, for being here. Of course, I first became aware of you because you were showing up in the chat and you were contributing. And I think now that I have had a chance to think about it, you were the one that just blew everyone's mind when you talked about how many journals you made. So it was right after that, or immediately after that, that I invited you. So I'm glad that the day has finally come. I think that you have nothing but good wishes and support coming from you as you pivot at this exciting time in your life. And we're going to be watching with anticipation to see what is up next for you and for your husband. And yeah, just really please. Hopefully, you'll pick up a few. Oh, Gwen is saying such a fun interview. Wonderful to get to know you, Dawn. Yeah, Teresa calls you one of our chat sisters. So that's cool that you're here, facing the camera and getting to explain more than what a few words in a chat will do. By all means, keep us informed of what is coming up for you, because I think, in some ways, I think I said in the email, it's both it's exciting / scary, because you kind of never know. But Oh, and Teresa says she can look for your journals when in Seaside. And Juju is saying, blessed to call you her friend. So you've got a really cool relationship going there. And Denise says, wonderful interview. Thank you, Hazel and Dawn. So we are going to have to end this now. We've been here quite a while. So again, it was a pleasure to get to know you to this level. And we're just going to keep on seeing you in the chat and hoping for the best for you. Thanks,
Well,
guys.
thank you, Hazel. I'm blessed to be on your channel and
Thank you.
to spend time with you too. So yeah, and obviously, if you ever want to just hang out and chat, feel free to just reach out. We can just have fun because I had a great time tonight too. So
well, but I always say that with so many balls in the air, I think that I think in truth, I would wait for an invitation as opposed to, hey, I've got a free whatever. Oh, and I just discovered something. I was about to plug next week's interview. And right before I went on this afternoon, I got word from Lori June at Sarcastically 60 something that for whatever reason, she's unable to be here next week. So that is an issue. Juju is saying that I have an open invite. So if anyone has a bright idea for someone who could fill in next Wednesday on this short notice, please reach out to me via email so that I can act on it. I know that Gwen saved my butt one time.
I was going to ask, who are you going to let interview you?
Well, there was, very funny. There was a thing a week, I don't know when, where I said I was going to be visiting Jonna, and the suggestion was that she interview me when I'm at visiting her, but that's not for a few months yet. Okay, so in a very subtle way, you reminded me of something that I said before, that if it ever gets to the point where I'm, someone has bowed out, that it might have to be Juju is saying me, that would be a wild night. So are we serious here? Are we saying that we should let Juju interview me next week?
See how it works?
Holy cow. Holy cow. And Gwen is saying yes. Hey, but I noticed in the comments earlier that Juju must have just been coming home from work or something.
She'll make it happen.
Well, and she says, heck yeah. Oh my goodness. But does she, she's saying, I'm game and am I? Well, oh, these people are funny. Okay, but would you be witnessing a SmackDown Live?
Juju can be sweet.
What do you mean can be? Isn't it? Juju is sweet. Oh Lord. Okay, let's leave it at this. Juju and I will write to each. Oh, Gwen is putting it in her calendar. Teresa's saying pay-per-view.
Yeah, you should put that behind a paywall, you guys.
Yeah, we might make $1 or so. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and say yes. Okay, so Juju and I will line that up, and yeah, we're going to do it. I don't know. Is YouTube ready for this? Come on down, Hazel. She's going to need a drink. LOL. Yay. Oh, brother. Look at you people. You're such enablers. Okay. Enough is enough. We'll see you next Wednesday. The tables will be turned, and yeah, we're going to do it. Okay.
It's going to be amazing.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Denise is saying, just seeing you speechless, Hazel, was worth admission. God. Okay, people, goodbye.